Wave.
Not gonna lie, 8 years ago today, Jason and I said I do. Yeah. And I'd say it again over and over and over again. I love that man. And also, he's mine. Don't forget it. Let's get this podcast started. Welcome back to Not Gonna Lie, a Wave original brought to you by Pull-Ups. I'm your host, Kylie Kelsey, local animal nerd, known to hide when I eat chocolate. Seriously, you should have seen me with the Tim Tams last night. If you know, you know. And other desserts, so my kids don't find me because I don't want to hear, can I have some? Or, what's in your mouth? And noted supporter of women supporting women, because women, specifically the Professional Women's Hockey League, are setting attendance records at Madison Square Garden. The women of the WNBA are finally getting paid, with 15 WNBA players so far signing $1 million plus deals. Insane. Oh yeah, and astronaut Christina Koch just became the first woman to fly around the moon. Shout out and go birds to astronaut Christina of the Artemis 2 crew. She can actually be seen in space in her Phillies jersey with an Eagles bucket hat on. Outstanding. We love that so much. Having a Philadelphia sports fan be the first woman to fly around the moon feels appropriate because we are passionate and there's a certain level of grit to us that I feel like Christina probably directly applied to her training and also this mission. So, way to go, Christina. I can truly say that these are the types of things that we should feel privileged that we get to be alive for and witness in current times. That's very exciting. I was not watching the live streams because going to space freaks me out. The girls and I did talk about how amazing it is that Christina was in the rocket that flew around the moon, and that's a really big accomplishment for her and women. We did discuss that. It was, they're 6 and under, guys, so it was pretty surface level, but we did talk about it. Christina, you are welcome on NGL anytime. I hope that didn't need to be said. And of course, as always, go birds. All right, now that we've addressed our space travel for the day, coming up on today's episode, a fresh edition of Ask Me Some Things, where we've got questions about the transition from 1 to 2 kids and childhood celebrity crushes. After that, I'm going to be joined by someone I've always wanted to talk to. She's a hilarious actress who's been in some of my favorite movies ever. She's also a director, co-owner of a soccer team, and somebody I have, you guessed it, no business speaking to, Elizabeth Banks. But before we get to all that, let's start with a quick NGL announcement. Attention real ones, merch is back. We got the FAFO hoodie and No Business Being Here hat back. Plus, we also just launched a brand new collection. Let's see the photos, Queen Emma. Yes, support women's sports. You get it. That's what we do around here. Women supporting women. You see what we did there? Support women's sports. Support women sports. We've got the sweatshirt, t-shirt, and hat for this one. I love this one. I'm very excited because I personally really enjoy when we have t-shirts or merch that doesn't have my name on it. Because then I can wear it. So I want to be like the real ones. I want to be matching. Let's be matching. We also have NGL long sleeve now. And look at that. The back says, it's fine, I'm fine. Yeah, because if we say it enough, we'll believe it. Check all of it out now at nglkylie.com. Oh my gosh. You know what this means, guys? Every time we launch a new merch line, we get to pick a charity that we are going to donate the proceeds to. This is so exciting. Here's the deal. We love to impact as many people as possible. So, real ones, I would love some suggestions. If you have organizations or foundations that impact girls in sports, and realistically, I do think that if this also includes girls in the arts, we would also like to look into that, because sports are not the only way that you can have extracurricular activities that enrich the lives of your children, that also teach them about working with a team. If you have an organization or a foundation that you think support women in sports or girls in sports or girls in extracurricular activities, please let us know so that we can review some options, and we will get back to you with which one we choose to be the recipient of this Merch Launches charitable donation. Next order of business, a brand new edition of Ask Me Some Things, because Ask Me Anything was too open-ended. Seriously, you guys gotta chill. Ask Me Some Things is brought to you by Pull-Ups. I thought for some reason when my brain first saw that sentence, it was like, Ask Me Some Things is brought to you by Kylie Kelsey. We've joked about it, but one of these times, guys, I'm gonna pay for an episode and then say whatever the hell I want. That's a lie. We do that anyway. You're literally not allowed to be a sponsor if you're gonna try and tell me what to say. Okay, Ask Me Some Things is brought to you by Pull-Ups. First question here. Matoodle. That's adorable. 31. What is your favorite movie, TV show, and do you have any recommendations? Let me tell you. The last thing he told me, I need to finish the season. I got a little bit distracted because I kept trying to watch it in instances where I was not with my children. And oftentimes that means that I'm by myself in a hotel room or something else. And it freaks me out to watch that show when I'm not in the safety of my own home with big, large man sleeping next to me. I love The Pit. I had to select not interested on TikTok on multiple The Pit TikToks because it was going to spoil. I have not had the time to dedicate this time to watching the rest of the season that's currently out. I need you guys not to tell me because I'm in it. I love that show. I think the cast is outstanding. I think it's such an eclectic group of people and the characters are so good. And my ADHD loves that it's one day. It loves that. For some reason, it doesn't make it feel like this season is this long drawn out situation that it's going to be like short, sweet, to the point. And it's not. It's hour-long episodes about the hour of the shift. It's fine. I love it. I love it so much. Next question. Childhood celebrity crush. One of the brothers on Home Improvement. I don't know which one. Maybe it was the middle one. There were 3 of them, right? It was the middle brother on Home Improvement. I thought he was cute. Freddie Prinze Jr. Because, what is that movie? What is that movie? She's All That? No. Is it She's All That? With the girl with the glasses and she's Lainey and she's All That. I loved the movie She's All That. And I think that Freddie Prinze Jr. character specifically is what I liked. I just loved that movie. I loved that she was so pretty and she was in painted overalls. Paint spattered overalls. And then all of a sudden it was like, you should take off your glasses and wear this cute dress. And suddenly everyone was like, oh, she's gorgeous. And it was like, what? Those are literally the only 2 that come to mind, which is kind of ridiculous. Rose wants to know tips for going from 1 to 2 will be 20 months apart. Oof. 1 to 2 to me felt great. It was entertainment for the older and entertainment for the younger. When the older one is launching themselves off of things, the little blob is just laying there watching them like, that's pretty crazy. So it's built-in entertainment both directions, which I really appreciated. The good news about 1 to 2 is that you still have a hand for each. If they do ready, break, and then they run different directions, you can still grab both of them. So, 20 months apart feels good. Our oldest are 17 months apart. And it was so nice because now it feels like they're hitting stages very quickly behind each other. And it's been that way the whole time. And they'll learn from each other. It's so cool to have siblings that are that close in age. I'm biased again, because all of our splits are 17, almost 2 years. It's great. I love it. I will say, get a really good baby wrap. something that you're comfortable with, that you can put on easily. I was not the person who liked the really long one that you have to figure out how to tie and tuck and all of that stuff. I watched plenty of videos. I got the hang of it. I still didn't like it. It wasn't for me. I think a baby wrap, because if your second is a Velcro child or a Velcro baby, it's so much easier to strap them in, make sure their head is secured and they're tucked safely against your chest. I am not a medical professional, but the tip I was told was you should be able to easily kiss them on the head just by dropping your chin. They shouldn't be like sinking down between, like lower than your boobs. That is helpful because then you get both of your hands back. And don't feel bad about dropping food on that child's head. Do not. I'm not going to judge you if you drop some sandwich on their head. Just make sure you pick it up. If they're close enough that you can kiss their head, you could probably just eat it off of their head if it fell down there. Just a thought. Okay. That's Ask Me Some Things, brought to you by Pull-Ups. Now let's get to Doom Scroll of the Week, brought to you by Lululemon. First up, there's a TikTok trend right now where women are asking their partners if they would eat hypothetical cookies they were given in labor while they are unable to eat. Really? Let's see the clip, Queen Emma.
Say we were married and I gave birth to our child. You know you can't eat while you're giving birth.
I can't?
Women can't eat when they're giving birth.
I would not eat cookies while you're giving birth.
Have you heard this story?
Nope, but I know where it's going. I would never do that. Is that foul? Did someone do that?
So this doctor brought this woman 2 cookies and she goes, just save me one of them. You can have the other one. While she's in labor. He goes, okay, yeah. He eats both of them. She goes, after labor, after a really, really, really hard stops. Are you crying? Oh my God, that's so sad.
I know, it's so sad.
Okay, first of all, this gentleman is a walking green flag. I can just throw that out there real quick. Second, okay, I have a couple questions here. First of all, I have not seen this trend. If I asked Jason not to eat a cookie that was intended for me, he wouldn't eat the cookie that was intended for me. It's that simple. The fact that there were 2 cookies and she asked for just 1 cookie to be saved for her and he couldn't do that. You should have, nope. You should have asked the doctor. Nope. That wasn't going to be any better. You should have punched. I'm kidding. I just can't fathom having a human being exit your body and looking forward to a cookie, and then your partner has already eaten your cookie that was for you. You know those instances where someone does something and they look for some recognition, you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, you earned a sticker, you get a cookie, like that's your reward. That is the bare minimum for childbirth. So the fact that he ate your cookies, wow. Also, I would just like to point out, quite some time ago, I made a TikTok about childbirth and my husband's involvement in it. And it was a joke, which people thought I was serious, but it was fully a joke. And at some point, I recorded him eating bagels while I was in labor and therefore could not also enjoy the bagels. And I have had to go back and explain that the background audio of that clip is me like enjoying him eating the bagel. Like I wanted to know how the bagel was. But don't eat my fucking cookies. You know? I have full faith that Jason would not eat my cookies. I know that for a fact. I have faith in my husband, especially on today, our 8-year anniversary. I know he wouldn't eat my cookies. All right, let's keep it scrolling here. The next clip is, no exaggeration, one of the best things I've seen on the internet. Queen Emma, the clip, please.
Can you show me what a frog does? Let's see it.
Yes. It says my toddler's version of a frog
Good
jumping.
job, baby.
For our audio listeners, he is straight-legged hopping. And his physique, impeccable. If I had to explain it to people, I would say that it looks like you shrunk down an offensive lineman. You shrunk him down. You just did like the little pinch that you do to zoom out on your iPhone. That's that. And that's his physique. So he's perfect. And then he's hopping, but his legs are straight. And no fault of his, he's not actually going very far. And he was not asked for sound effects, but he's fully in character. And he said, Rebet. No notes, not a single fucking note. Mom also posted a video of him doing a big jump, and it's fantastic.
Can you do a really big jump?
Oh,
amazing.
Dude.
Oh. Again, for my audio listeners, when he is jumping, this is a big jump. A big jump was requested. He is in the grass of the backyard, and I promise you, when he does the jump, the grass blades are still touching the bottom of his feet. Now, the comment section on that video didn't disappoint. As always, we sprint to the comments. Lex says, the sky is truly his limit. See what you did there? The next person said, woo, thank goodness he didn't fly over that wall. Because there was a chance of that. And the third comment says, LeBron James is real quiet since this reel dropped, which is hilarious. He does not have ups. There are no ups happening. I can vividly remember the feeling that I had watching every single one of our girls jump for the first time. Now, Finny, the only jumping she has done was when she was learning to walk, and she would try to what I call scurry. But I think she would equate it to running, an attempt at running. But her feet were still not ready to walk, and she was trying to run. So sometimes when she would try to sort of get a jump start, it would be just that. Both feet would go at the same time, and her feet would actually hit heel first at the same time. And then she would end up her feet, and she'd go really like toes over nose and just on her ass. And it was outstanding. I didn't like that she was bonking her butt. I loved that she was doing it with a jump. I still remember watching the other three girls learn to jump and then proceed to show it off to everybody. I love little kids jumping. I love little kids learning a new thing and then showing it off as if it is just, Olympic gold medal earning situation. What can they do? Some impressive feats. I am of the, what was it? A Vine? It's not even a Vine. It's a clip from The Office when they're going parkour, 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 and just jumping off of chairs. On a regular basis, I will like just do a little sideways jump off of a step and be like parkour. And so then they started doing that. And now they will set up obstacle courses in the living room and jump off of a cushion onto the couch and then stand back up and go parkour. And I love that. And that does it for Doom Scroll of the Week, brought to you by Lululemon. Coming up, I'm about to be joined by Elizabeth Banks right after these messages from me. As a mom of 4 kids, 6 and under, I can actually admit I may know a thing or two about potty training. It was difficult to figure out, but we got through it the first time. And by the second time, she was taking notes from her older sister. And then, you guessed it, the third one came along. She took notes from the 2 older ones. I'm hoping that means that Finn is going to be the easiest. There may or may not have been a time where there was a turd on the kitchen floor. It was my first go round, and I've since learned. What I know has worked consistently is positive reinforcement and the help of pull-ups. Luckily, there's a new product from Pull-Ups. The #1 potty training brand has added a learning layer that feels wet but stays dry. It's designed to help kids learn the difference between feeling wet and dry. Plus, it's dermatologist tested and safe for sensitive skin. And it helps build big kid confidence. Progress without the stress of a mess, up to 100% leak-free. Buy new pull-ups with Learning Layer now, designed to help kids learn wet from dry. Learn more at www.pullups.com. As a full-on type C mom, I found it's incredibly important to me to have my go-tos in my closet. So when I'm rushing around doing school drop-off and errands, I can grab something I know I love and I'm comfortable in, aka Lululemon. I've been wearing Lululemon since I was maybe 19 years old. I picked them because they last the test of time. I still have my favorite pair of Lululemon shorts for a solid 10 years. They have lasted so long. Plus, their new spring styles take that even further. Right now, I'm into the new Steady State Super Loft pieces. This is the sweatshirt. They are unbelievably soft. A nice, thick fabric that you know is going to not only keep you cozy, but be a good layer to the elements. And here's the thing you need to know. Lululemon does limited color runs. So when those new styles drop every Tuesday, they go fast. You don't want to wait. If it's not for you, Lululemon offers free returns, no risk. That's lululemon.com. New drops every Tuesday. Go now. She's the hilarious actress you know from such classics as Pitch Perfect, The Hunger Games, Lego Movie, 40-Year-Old Virgin, 30 Rock, Definitely Maybe, and Wet Hot American Summer. She's also an incredible director, co-owner of Boston Legacy FC. Her brand new show, The Miniature Wife, is officially out now on Peacock. And now she's not going to lie. Elizabeth Banks, welcome to the show. And more importantly, go Birds.
Go. Oh, okay. I'll allow it. I'll allow it with you. I'll allow it.
Okay, I have a question for you because I know that you have posted in an Eagles hat before.
Yes.
You are from Massachusetts, but you have a couple different connections to Philadelphia. Is it your time at UPenn that got you?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Well,
if you can't beat them, join them.
So a couple things. Yeah. I mean, fly Eagles fly. I'm also in Invincible, the Vince Papale story.
Yes.
So I really got immersed in Eagles culture, while making that film. But I had gone to Penn in Philadelphia. I am a huge fan of Philly as a city, as a sports town, incredible sports town. And as a Massachusetts person, New England, we have an incredible sports fandom. So I know it when I see it, and Philly really brings it. And my husband is from Portland, Oregon. So they have the Portland Trailblazers, but they have no football team. So when we were 18 years old and young, he sort of adopted the Eagles as his team. So in my current home, my husband is an Eagles fan. I am a New England fan, and we are raising kids who are from LA, which is wild to me. And so we are also trying to allow them to be Rams fans. But when you're in Philly, it's hard not to be swept up by it. And I went to a lot of Eagles games as a college student and even beyond. One of my favorite things to do was to take the subway in Philly down Broad Street, and get down there on a game day because you get on. I remember getting on, we were playing, I don't know who we were playing. The team was wearing red. So I'm going to say, I don't know. It wasn't San Francisco, or I don't know. But anyway, we get on, and this poor couple, the whole train car, right, is Eagles fans. And this poor couple in their red jerseys. And they just start singing Fly, Eagle Fly, on the road to victory. It starts slow, and then it builds. And then they're the fans are on top of this couple that's just there. And I was like, this is going to go sideways so quickly. And then immediately everyone was like, da-da-da, high fives, and off the train. Yes. It was nothing. And it was just, I thought, yeah, that's them. It's a little threatening, but ultimately they are peaceful. Most of the time.
we're aggressive. I say this wholeheartedly, owning it. We are aggressive. We are passionate.
Yes.
And if you don't meet us with a combative energy,
that's right,
we're good.
That's right. This couple was like, yep, we know where we are. We understand now. We are not in control of this moment and we are not coming for you. And like, this isn't the place. And yeah, I agree. I think that it felt actually ultimately just sort of friendly.
Yes. Now, I will say, on your way there, I assume that people were not quite at their end of game status,
correct,
if you will, which helps.
Yeah, they were a bit underserved, not overserved yet. So the underserving definitely helped the scenario. Yeah.
We also have something else in common. Apparently, we're both fans. I mentioned this to you before we started recording, of what I like to call the other podcast, aka New.
Yes.
They'll bleep that. Yeah. Don't worry. Because you posted this hilarious TikTok reaction to one of their more ridiculous clips.
Yeah.
You kind of just know when somebody reaches up to squirt you to open up your mouth.
Squirt you.
And then you just get squirted. But you don't always, like, they don't have to do the squirting. You can do the squirting sometimes. But, you know, when you develop a relationship, you just know when you're about to get squirted on.
You develop the relationship.
Yeah.
You got to have a good relationship with this person squirting.
Yeah.
It gets worse. Right when you think it can't get worse, it gets worse.
It does. And here's the thing. I was like, when did Jason catch on? Because clearly Travis realized it right away, I feel like. And then just was sort of egging him on. Yes. But I mean, so they're talking about the sort of guy who comes up with the Gatorade and goes, you know, because they don't want to touch each other's mouths. Yes. Just saying cooties. I don't know. And so I love that it's so clear what they're talking about. And your husband just went all in on that one. And it really delighted me to no end. And when they get on those riffs and they kind of egg each other on, that's the sibling relationship that we all want.
It is the lightning in a bottle that they have that everyone enjoys tuning in on. The way they riff off of each other is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
But it is ridiculous to me that they will get in something like that. And you're just like, guys.
No, but I love it. They got to work the bit.
Squirting.
They got to work the bit.
And they do, and they're good at it.
They're so good at working a bit. I mean, this is why they're, you know, who they are and why the success is what it is, because they're having fun with life. Guys, life is hard. Let's just have a little fun. Talk about squirting in each other's mouths. I mean, I'm somebody who's like, male sports generally are already so ridiculously, I'll call it loving, okay? I'll call it loving. Men love each other so much. They dress up in each other's jerseys. They hug each other. They pat each other on the butt.
Yes.
You know, they're like, it's like blowing kisses. I mean, I don't know how invested you are in heated rivalry. I'm very invested.
Let me tell you, I haven't seen it yet. I know. But what I will tell you is
right now so you can watch it.
Wait, the number of TikToks that I have seen, TikToks or things on Instagram, where people are like at what they're calling the boy aquarium, which is
a hockey rink. Yeah.
And they look at each other and one person says, "So when do they kiss?" And now people have applied it to all other sports.
It's great.
Gosh. Well, since we're already talking sports, let's flip to some really, I think, a happy side of sports is your ownership of the Boston Legacy.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm really excited to be part of the ownership team of Boston's latest franchise, Boss Legacy, the NWSL team. We've just kicked off our first season. You know, I think it's a wild prospect to think about starting from scratch, building anything from scratch. But in Titletown, Boston, you know, we are really trying to build out a women's sports franchise in a town that has an incredible fandom already. And from what I've seen so far, I was at the kickoff game at Gillette Stadium, and we had, you know, over 30,000 people there. It was an incredible feeling. And the team then was in the St. Patty's Day parade the next day, and like people had the gear on and they were like, they already knew the players. And I think it's going to be really intense and it's going to be really special, but I think ultimately it's time and we're ready to have a sports team for women in Boston.
That's like a really good summary of women's sports right now, right? Like it's time. And we're waiting in Philly for the time that we get to have a women's soccer team here. We just got word that 2030 we're getting a W team,
a WNBA.
So we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah. Look, I think sports is a universal language, right? It's like we all love watching the best of us. When you are rising to the level of professional sportsdom, like you've started young, you've committed yourself, you're reaching for something that very few people, there's 7 billion people on the planet. There's only so many professional sports teams. Like you are working at the highest level. And I think it's so inspirational for people to see. And women want to be inspired in that way too. And I want to honor the women that have devoted their lives to their sport by actually paying them to play it and watching them do it and cheering them on. So it took not just like, me saying it. I wanted to put my money where my mouth was.
That's incredible. Now, I'd also love to talk to you about the TV shows and movies that everyone loves you in.
Thank you.
Starting, of course, with your brand new show, The Miniature Wife. Yeah. All 10 episodes are officially streaming now on Peacock. Can you tell us a little bit about this? For the real ones who haven't seen it yet, what do they need to know?
The Miniature Wife, a lot of it's in the title. It's about Les and Lindy Littlejohn. My husband is a wild, incredible scientist. He's been working on a shrinking formula, and he accidentally shrinks me. And it's really about power dynamics in a couple. And I think we can all relate to that sense of feeling small in a relationship. Sometimes it's in your romantic relationship. You feel like your needs, wants might be being minimized by your partner. Sometimes it's in a professional setting. My character is an award-winning writer, but she has writer's block and she feels like she's not getting ahead in her career anymore. I think we can all sort of relate to like a boss that makes you feel small. But ultimately, it's a couple that started off in a partnership and has become a competition. I think that's also really relatable for people. I don't know about you, but I try very hard not to keep a tally sheet in my relationship, right? Like, well, I did the dishes and you need to do the laundry and I'm doing the pickup and you're doing the this. And like, it's hard, right? Like when we're really trying to co-parent and like be in a partnership, I think there are just gender dynamics at play and social dynamics at play. And this show is not afraid to tackle those and give the wife a bit of the moral high ground because she gets shrunk and diminished. But then she's very complicated and a little flawed. And so I meant to give you an elevator pitch and now I'm telling you about the entire show.
No, it's funny because you're in your explanation and you saying about how it's sort of like trying, like just in our own relationships of not trying to keep a tally board of what people are doing. And in the scene where your character is shrunk down, it is literally like, well, I did this and you did that and then you didn't do this. And it's the perfect example of like when everything gets bottled up and all of a sudden you guys are just like, let's trauma dump.
Yes, exactly.
Let's lay it all out.
Yeah.
But it's incredible to know that it really is a very obvious version of like, yes, you got smaller, but it's addressing that in those moments you might feel significantly minimized.
Yes, minimized. I think that what was fun was there's really big themes and we were just going to make that feeling that I think is very relatable, literal in the show. And what happened to me when they shrunk me in real life in the show, in the shooting of the show was I had to then work on green screen. Anytime I'm 6 inches tall, I'm working alone, isolated from my scene partner, from the whole rest of the cast and crew in a giant green box by myself. And it's the most vulnerable I've ever felt as an actor because it's already sort of ridiculous to like make believe for a living. Okay. Let's be honest. And now I'm like make believing to like a ball on a stick or like an eye line that's 100 feet away alone while the crew is just like walking to craft service and like on their phone and not being, you know what I mean? Like I'm just alone.
There's no back and forth.
Yeah. And like, it was really like a mind mess. Like it really fucked with my mind. I don't know if you can swear on your podcast, but it like
Please.
really.
We have a series called Fuck Around and Find Out. You say whatever you want.
I know. I suppose that's true. Yeah, I really fucked with my mind, like to be alone and just feel so vulnerable. Like, guys, I'm trying to imagine literally the floor I'm walking on, you know, the walls around me, not to mention like a cat or my husband or my scene partner. And I'm doing like monologues and emotional stuff and I'm crying and I'm like alone. Like it looks insane. Like if you just actually saw behind the scenes footage of me doing this, it's insane what it looks like. And so every once in a while I really like dropped in and sort of looked outside myself and thought, this is so weird what I'm doing. You know?
But to your credit, then watching it and not having any sense of like, oh, there is a disconnect. You are so locked in and it is so flowing. It's so fluid and lovely. And so to watch it and know that that's what you were working with is insane.
Yeah.
That takes a severe amount of talent. Now, you also have so many movies that I want to ask you about. One of my favorite movies of yours is Pitch Perfect.
Yeah.
It is just, I mean, endlessly quotable, hilarious cast. It was top to bottom outstanding. Do you have a favorite line or scene from the movie?
Well, I love saying excuse me. I still will every once in a while go, excuse me. Like,
thank you so much for saying that. I say that to my kids. I'm not exaggerating. Probably once a day.
I mean, excuse me is just so ridiculous. And
all the time.
Also, it just sort of says like what you're saying is ridiculous.
Yes.
Like, calm down. Yeah, I don't
meet it with ridiculous and say, excuse me.
Excuse me. Yeah. So
you're being ridiculous. I'm going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. You're being insane.
It's so good.
Yeah, I love that one. I mean, look, I freshen up the downtown, something that really sticks with me as well. You know, I really love that character, Gail Abernathy McCadden Feinberger. Muhammad, I believe, is her. Ultimately, she got married 5 times, I think. Really loved her, and she's iconic. And like you got to go for icon status. You know, if you're gonna make something, try to be iconic.
Well, speaking of an icon, another iconic role is Effie.
Yeah,
in Hunger Games. Talk about like a larger than like not only in the way that she is dressed and the way the character looks, but then also like the personality. That was a very impressive role to watch.
Effie is one of my all-time favorites, partially because I think as a character, she has one of the biggest arcs of anyone I've ever played. And I think Effie speaks to this moment in time in a crazy way, because Effie was somebody who held up the fascist patriarchy of President Snow because she really benefited from that system for a really long time. And she got a lot of self-worth from it. And she's a great cautionary tale. And she's someone who then realizes that system is not fair. When Katniss and Peeta get brought back into the Hunger Games, that absolutely breaks every rule of like what the system is supposed to do. They're supposed to be free. They won. They're supposed to be out. And it's such a harsh reality check for her and a change of heart that she ultimately becomes a revolutionary. But I just thought this is such an incredible story. And unfortunately, I think it speaks more and more to the time that we're living in right now.
You said it. I saw the next Hunger Games is coming out this fall with Elle Fanning playing a younger version of Effie. Did you talk to Elle about the character at all?
I saw Dakota after she got cast, but I haven't seen Elle, but we texted about it because I was so excited for her. And I know Elle a little bit. And I just think she's a fabulous choice. Actually, kind of the only choice, to be honest. And I also felt like the fans really wanted it to be her. And I think the fandom for the Hunger Games, they get what they want.
Well, I think they know it deeply.
They do.
Right?
They're so invested. And in terms of like who Effie was back, I'm really interested to see like what they do with that beginning, like with that story. And I think it's really exciting. I love the last movie was great. Battle of the Songbirds and Snakes can be incredible. Like it's all that whole world that Suzanne has created, and also very empowering for young people, right? Like telling young people that they need to be interested citizens in the world around them, that they can't just let the world happen to them. They actually can be a part of it. They have to be invested. Like these big policies, these politicians, like the things that they're doing matter. It actually affects their lives, and they need to start that process of being involved as young as they can be.
That is so appropriate. Right now.
I love talking about Effie for this reason.
Checking Allstate first could save you hundreds on car insurance. That's smart. Not checking the diaper bag was stocked up before leaving the house? Of course, that's the exact time when someone decides it's blowout time. And when I say someone, I mean my own 1-year-old daughter. Yeah. Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois. Now I'd like to talk to you some more about motherhood.
By the way, girl, you have so many kids.
So many.
You have twice as many kids as me, and I have too many kids.
Yes, but you've made it further.
I will also
you are slightly further down the road.
And I'm telling you, it gets more and more fun. I love it.
I love
every
so much for saying that.
I don't miss any of the younger. I mean, I'm a little, I'm just not a nostalgic person by nature. I'm always like, let's go forward. What's next? What's in the future? I'm like really excited for tomorrow, you know? And I have to say, people are like, oh, you have 2 teenagers. Oh, is that, oh. And I'm like, I don't know what you're doing at home, but my teenagers are a blast.
They must have girls. The people saying that too must have girls.
They must have girls. I know. And you have 4 of them.
Yes.
I'm the oldest of 3 girls, and then we had a baby brother. So I also have 4 kids in my family. And it's everybody there's just those bad moods, those low days, those like those rage, like all of it. And you're not going to escape it. No, but hopefully they are going to be each other's best friends, I bet, because I bet
they already are.
Yeah. So my
best.
sisters are my best friends. And I think it was really important to my parents that be the case. And I love that they passed that on to us, that sense that like, do not mess this up. Like as you get older and as you go through life, like the person that's going to know you best and is going to understand you, is going to be there for you, is your siblings. And 4 girls, I mean, my goodness, they are going to have a great time.
I hope so. You can already see them sort of riffing off of each other's personalities in a way that is so complementary and also so opposite of each other.
Yeah.
That it's like you guys have the world right here. Like all of you together are just like, you're the best little squad. And I'm excited. I'm never wishing away like the current phases we're in,
Yes.
but I'm very much like, I'm excited for the day that they can like wake up, get their own cereal, start their own day.
Oh girl, you've no idea. It's the best. And the other thing, what's interesting is I actually think, because I travel so much for work and I have that little bit of mom guilt. It's not even guilt. It's that I just love being with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will still, even though they're perfectly capable of getting themselves up and making a bagel and, getting out the door, I get up most mornings. I want them to see me before they go to school. I want to have that like grounding moment with them. And I got really good advice when I was a young mother and my kids were little. I was so sort of guilt-ridden and sad about like being at work when they were like 3. And I remember someone saying to me, I think even like Julianne Moore said it to me, like, you got to be there when they're 13, because 3 is like, it's great, but like they just need, they're so, don't take offense, 3-year-olds, but you're basic. Okay. Like you need to be fed.
Not a worry in the world.
You need to play a little bit, but like,
yes.
You're not having these like big 13 is, they're trying to figure out how to be humans. They're trying to figure out who they are. They're trying on personalities. They're looking at how they have power in the world. What does it look like? How are they cool? I remember our school said to us, 7th graders want to get an A in exactly one subject. social. They just want to be the A+ in social. And it's so true. They don't know who they are. And their friends start disappointing them. And they're not sure who to trust with their big feelings. And like, you have to be that rock that is just like their emotional stability, because man, when those hormones start hitting, like they're becoming a different person, they're figuring stuff out in a way that, you need to be a bit of a guide. And, I feel it right now. 13 and 15 are my boys. And I really feel that sense of, just like they just want to touch a little bit back to like, oh, but my mom's still here. Like I had a big day, I had a big feeling, I had a thing happen, but my mom is like, she's right there.
Space.
Yeah.
Security.
Space.
There's a sense of security that I've been told multiple times, little kid, little problems, big kids, big problems. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. We're talking about, my kids are talking about little things, right? What they're going to wear to school tomorrow. The shoes are itchy in the wrong spot. All of those like little things that'll like bring out the big feelings. And when they get to middle school, which I still believe the worst of the worst.
Absolute
middle school.
Worst. There's nobody makes it out alive. It's so bad. Yeah.
And then you get to middle school and it's all of these things happening. Friends are speaking meanly or this person said that. And it's like, you have to help them be secure in themselves.
Absolutely.
In a way that was like, when you were younger, a hug and a kiss would fix it. And now we're like really figuring out how to navigate the world.
I also, you just realize the older they get, like mine's going to drive next year. Yeah. And the consequences, right, of what they're doing, sex, driving, drugs, smoking, vaping, social media, all of it, just that's what they're navigating. Like, and they're navigating it in a way that it's coming. I feel overwhelmed in the world that we're living in right now. And I can't imagine being a young person who's being overwhelmed by everything and the consequences of like a wrong move. The level of stress that I have as a parent of older kids now, you really have to lay foundation as soon and as early as possible with these kids so that you can trust when they go out. My kids are like, you don't trust me. And I'm like, no, I don't trust the world around you. Like, I know that you're going to be a conscientious driver and da, da, da. But like, you make mistakes. Your brain's not developed. Like there's nothing, like, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. Like you're not built for it yet, And then we're like, go drive on the highway. Like, it's so nerve-wracking as a parent because we understand the consequences because we have the experience.
Right. And now I just saw that you were talking to Jimmy Kimmel about having the talk. So talk about the responsibility of sending your kids out into the world. That is a very important talk.
I could talk about this all day, Kylie. I love it so much because I was a kid who had decent sex education growing up. Great. And we did a program called LAMO, which was learning about myself and others.
That's lovely.
And we did it sort of through like Girl Scouts and like different church groups and stuff. And I had a mom who lived through the 60s and 70s. Okay. It was like, it was free love. They were all, it was women's liberation. And that meant birth control and the right to reproductive freedom and, all this like sense of yourself, as a person who is going to be in intimate relationships. And I don't think we are doing young people, we're doing so dirty by young people right now. We're teaching them none of this stuff. You may not need the Pythagorean theorem when you're older. You might not need to know, like the entire like chemical, like the physics of space. But you are almost definitely like 99% of us are going to have sex. You're going to want to be paired up with somebody. You're going to want to have love and devotion and somebody who like props you up. We pair up, right? We're humans. We need each other. And by the way, we have to procreate or like it's over. So like we need people to have sex. And we are giving young people zero tools right now. We are essentially saying, porn exists on the internet. Have fun. And like, that's what they're
Right.
learning.
A quick Google, figure it out.
Quick Google figure. And we're not giving them any sense that of how important it is to create boundaries for yourself and what a healthy relationship looks like. You know I can tell you and Jason model such a beautiful relationship. You can just tell by the way you guys talk about your marriage and your family, which, I'm so grateful for an example like you guys. And in my life, my husband and I, we're very cognizant of like, our kids are watching everything. Like, what are we modeling? How are we doing it? What do we want them to take away? How do we want them to think about relationships and intimacy and love? And, but you actually also have to have those conversations.
You want to raise them like, in parenthood that you've come to what you liked that your parents did, what you didn't like that your parents did, what you liked that your friends have done for their kids, what your aunts did to your cousins, like all of those things you've taken notes throughout your life, whether you realize it or not.
Yes.
And to open up the opportunity for conversations around those things that are just existing around them, gives them the opportunity for you to give feedback and for you to guide them in a way that as parents we're supposed to. Like, obviously they're going to be their own person, but we're supposed to help them along the way. Just a little bit of guidance, keep them safe, help them feel loved, and keep them on their path. It's crazy to me to not talk about like just sex in general. I grew up in a very forward house. Like, it was lighthearted. My aunts would joke about it. We would be at like a family gathering. Everyone's joking around about this and that one's hot and I'm getting some ass tonight. And they're talking about their spouses.
Sex positivity.
Okay? It was the most like no pressure, laid back. I knew that I could ask my mom anything under the sun and that she would answer it honestly.
Same.
It was the best. At some point, I think I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but at some point I went to my mom, I think I was like 13, and I was like, Mom, I'm going to save myself for marriage. My mom looked at me and was like, you got to test drive a car before you buy it. And I was like, got it. Thank you. And I like, obviously she wasn't saying it like 13, go out and do it. She was just saying like, I really respect that you think that that's what you're going to do, but no one is going to shame you for choosing otherwise.
No one grows up and says, I wish I didn't know about those things, right? Like they're starving for information. They want, and you want to be what I like to call their trusted adult, right? You don't want that. I mean, they're going to, and if I'm not your trusted adult, then do you have an aunt? Do you have a friend? Do you have a cousin? Do you have an uncle? Like, every kid needs a trusted adult where they can have these big, have their big questions answered and feel safe asking and not feel shamed.
Yes. Now, the one thing that I have to ask you, our last question, relates a little bit back to motherhood, because I like to ask all of my guests who are moms on the show this question. What is the best piece of motherhood advice that you have ever received?
I really think it has something to do with when kids ask a question, like honor where it's coming from. Like, I think dismissing kids is it's just like one of the worst things that you can do. I saw, this maybe isn't advice, but it was something that I witnessed that I promised myself I would never do. I was flying across the country on an airplane on July 4th. I was coming from Los Angeles to New York. So I was flying, into the sunset, and it was getting darker and darker. And suddenly out the window, you could see fireworks, like the fireworks celebrations that were starting across the country. It was incredible. And this little girl was sitting in the seat in front of me, and she turned to her father, who was in the middle seat, and said, Daddy, I can see the fireworks down below. And he said, no, you can't. We're too far away to see the fireworks. I don't know what you're talking about. And I thought, how
you
can
didn't
you
even look?
Your little girl? First of all, you just told her reality is not real. She's having like a magical moment, as I was having.
That literally makes me want to cry.
It made me want to cry, and it made me want to murder him. I was like,
just
you're the worst father I've ever fucking heard. I was like, that is the worst thing I've ever heard. I've heard men say bad things, but I was like, it took my breath away. I wanted to like touch her and be like, I see what you see.
That's where I would have been. That's
Like-
where I have my lack of filter would have kicked in. I would have been like,
Like,
no, I see those
childhood
fireworks too.
Childhood is for whimsy and magic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's for innocence and whimsy and magic. You need to provide those things for your children because the world is going to take that away eventually. So give them the tooth fairy and give them the fireworks and give them
And
their
be
little troll
excited
dolls.
about it.
Whatever it is, give them the music and the dancing and the love and the whimsy and the running through the field of flowers and the butterfly. And like, that's what childhood is meant for.
That's so amazing because it could be the tiniest thing and it excites their soul or lights their fire in a way that if you can just acknowledge it. Well, thank you so much, Elizabeth, for coming on. I really appreciate it. You can go watch all of the episodes of The Miniature Wife out now on Peacock. And I have to say it again, just for good measure, go birds.
Go birds.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
And that's it for this episode of Not Gonna Lie. You can find even more clips from my longer conversation with Elizabeth on my YouTube channel on More Shit Monday. I'll be back next Thursday with a brand new episode. Follow us on social media at NGL with Kylie for clips throughout the week. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Not Gonna Lie is a Wave original brought to you by Pull-Ups. Thanks again to the real ones for tuning in.